The year is 2026. Venezuela's former president is no longer standing behind a podium, blaming enemies or promising recovery. He's sitting quietly, waiting. But this story is not about an arrest. It's about something far more powerful. A math problem. Because governments don't usually collapse in one dramatic moment. They collapse slowly while the crowd is still cheering. And Venezuela didn't fail because it was poor. It failed because it was rich in the most dangerous way possible. The jackpot that turned into a curse. Beneath Venezuelan soil lies the largest proven oil reserve on Earth. More than Saudi Arabia. More than the United States. On paper, this should have guaranteed prosperity for generations. In reality, it planted the seed of destruction. When oil money began flooding the economy, something subtle but fatal happened. The national currency grew strong. Imports became cheap. Local production became unnecessary. Why grow food when ships deliver it cheaper? Why manufacture goods when oil pays faster and easier? Slowly, Venezuela stopped making things. Farms declined. Factories closed. Oil didn't support the economy. It replaced it. As long as oil prices stayed high, the illusion worked. The money kept flowing, and no one asked what would happen if it stopped. The disease no one wanted to treat. Economists have a name for this: Dutch disease. When a country depends too heavily on one resource, everything else weakens. Skills disappear. Industries die. Resilience vanishes. By the time Nicolás Maduro took power in 2013, the system was already infected. But the real damage had been done years earlier, firing the brain of the economy. The national oil company, once respected worldwide, was gutted. Nearly 20,000 engineers, geologists, and technicians were fired. Not because they failed, because they protested. Their replacements weren't specialists. They were loyalists. People who knew how to chant slogans but not how to maintain refineries, pipelines, or drilling systems. Infrastructure aged. Maintenance budgets vanished. Critical systems were ignored. By the time Maduro inherited the presidency, the engine was already overheating, draining the machine. Instead of repairing the oil industry, the government treated it like a cash machine. Need money for social programs? Take it from oil. Need to pay political allies? Take it from oil. Need to fund rallies and loyalty? Take it from oil. Reinvestment stopped. Maintenance was postponed. Future production was sacrificed for present survival. Then came 2014. Oil prices collapsed, and the machine broke. Production falls off a cliff. At its peak, Venezuela produced nearly 3 million barrels of oil per day. Within years, that number collapsed to a fraction of its former level. Not because oil ran out, because competence did. The country still sat on immense wealth, but no longer had the skills or systems to extract it. And suddenly, the money stopped. That was the moment of truth. Cut spending? Raise taxes? Reform the system? Or do what desperate governments always do when reality becomes inconvenient? Print. Printing. Reality away. Instead of reducing spending, the government ordered the central bank to print. Not carefully. Not slowly. Aggressively. Inflation didn't rise. It detonated. Prices changed daily. Then hourly. Then instantly. Money stopped being a store of value and became a countdown timer. If you waited even minutes, you lost. The death of trust. An economy survives on belief. Belief that money holds value. Belief that work leads to food. Belief that tomorrow exists. That belief collapsed. People spent salaries immediately on anything physical. Food, soap, tires, batteries. Cash became useless paper. Shops stopped restocking. Shelves went empty. The government blamed enemies. Then shopkeepers. Then economic war. They forced businesses to sell at fake prices. Businesses closed. The economy froze not from lack of money, but lack of truth. Hunger as policy. When food vanished, the state stepped in with boxes. Subsidized food packages distributed to households. On paper, aid. In practice, control. Support the government, receive food. Question it, go hungry. Scarcity became leverage. Worse, investigations later revealed massive corruption. Low-quality food imported at inflated prices. Millions siphoned off. Hunger monetized. Starvation wasn't a failure. It became a system. The body responds first. By 2016, The population was visibly shrinking not in number, but in weight. Millions skipped meals. Children fainted in schools. Hospitals ran without supplies. This wasn't ideology anymore. It was biology. And biology doesn't negotiate. Voting with feet. When ballots stopped working, people used borders. Millions left. Doctors, engineers, teachers, technicians. The country lost not just people but skills. Hospitals without doctors. Refineries without engineers. Power grids without maintenance crews. The state hollowed out from within. The night the lights went out. In 2019, Venezuela went dark. Not briefly. For days. Power failed. Water pumps stopped. Hospitals shut down. This wasn't sabotage. It was neglect. Years without maintenance finally collected their debt. Electricity is civilization. Without it, everything collapses at once. A fake recovery. Later, the government quietly allowed US dollars. Luxury stores appeared. Imported goods returned. It looked like recovery. It wasn't. It was a two-tier economy. A few with dollars, millions without. The country wasn't producing wealth. It was recycling remittances and laundering cash. When states become syndicates, with oil failing and taxes gone, the regime turned elsewhere. Illegal mining, smuggling, drug trafficking, gold replaced policy. Crime replaced governance. The state didn't fall, it transformed. From government to operation. That's when international pressure changed tone. Maduro stopped being treated like a president. He became a liability. The final equation. Dictators fall when incentives change. As long as loyalty pays, power survives. When it stops paying, everything flips. By late 2025, cash ran short. Payments slowed. Protection weakened. Loyalty has a price. And suddenly, someone else was paying more. Closing verdict. Maduro wasn't defeated by ideology. He wasn't defeated by sanctions alone. He was defeated by economic reality. You can't print prosperity. You can't eat oil. You can't rule ruins forever. The collapse wasn't sudden. It was calculated step by step. And when the numbers finally reached zero, so did his power. Exit without war. When systems fail, people don't wait for permission. They leave. Venezuelans didn't flee bombs. They fled arithmetic, a salary that couldn't buy lunch, savings erased between paydays, a future that vanished overnight. Suitcases replaced bank accounts. Border crossings became routine. Families walked. Children carried documents instead of toys. This became the largest migration in modern Latin American history, not because of invasion, but because money stopped working. Life in survival mode. Those who stayed adapted. Barter replaced wages. Foreign currency replaced trust. Skills replaced titles. Doctors drove taxis. Engineers sold food. Teachers left classrooms for markets. Not because they wanted to, because survival outranks dignity. Time horizons collapsed. People stopped planning years ahead. Then months. Then days. The economy didn't just shrink. It reverted. The long shadow. Hyperinflation eventually slowed. Not because of reform, but because nothing was left to inflate. Factories were silent. Production minimal. Confidence gone. Oil still slept underground. Rich, untouched, useless. An economy once fueled by abundance, now rationed reality. Recovery, if it comes, will take decades, not to rebuild infrastructure, but to rebuild belief. The lesson numbers don't forget. This wasn't a story about villains or heroes. It was about incentives ignored, trade-offs denied, math postponed. Printing money didn't create wealth. It revealed its absence. Oil didn't create security. It delayed discipline. And when discipline is delayed long enough, reality collects interest. Why this story matters? Because Venezuela wasn't unique. Many nations walk similar paths. Different flags. Same shortcuts. Debt masked as growth. Printing masked as policy. Resources mistaken for resilience. The collapse didn't start when shelves went empty. It started when hard choices were replaced with easy money. Final thought. Economies don't collapse when they run out of money. They collapse when they run out of truth. And truth, unlike currency, cannot be printed.